Hello, everyone. Happy 5 Minute Friday. All right, so Dr. Holly here. We're going to jump right in for your quick tips for 5 minutes to impact your business this week. And this week, I have something for you to play around with. You are going to get to make your own pie chart. Yay! Who doesn't love a pie chart? And I know you all are thinking, like, yeah, I really am. I'm just a really big nerd when it comes to numbers, okay? But I love resources. And I love being intentional, so I want you all to jump and dive right in to getting clear on your numbers, because guess what? We are in fourth quarter now. So we need to wrap up the whole year, 2020, be intentional for this fourth quarter, finish out strong, and then we need to set the intention for 2021. So let's look at some pie charts. Now, if you remember, I introduced these concepts when I did my training, Numbers Need to Know in Chiropractic Business on the CSA Summit back in September. So let's revisit those in case you missed it, or in case you just want to get some more examples. So I have 3 different pie charts here, and these represent cash flow in chiropractic businesses, okay? So over here, all the way to the left, we're looking at big space, big staff, aka big overhead. You are just barely scraping by, paying yourself last, okay? A lot of money flying right out the door. That's how we need to look at this. So you see here, we've got over 50% of generated cash is coming in, but going straight back out to pay the overhead, pay the rent. 30% going to staff. We have some miscellaneous, we have some ads, and then you're paying yourself last. Hey, guess what, guys? This is what most chiropractors probably look like for the first couple of years in business. I know, I've been there. Where, yeah, you're paying yourself whatever you can to try to make it by, because covering the overhead is the number one priority in those first couple of years. At least that's the way we used to think about it. Okay, so not a good place to be for a sustainable long period of time, but I understand you just got to get those revenue numbers up. You got to get the cash in the door, but then once it's in the door, we have to be intentional about how it goes back out. Okay, so here in the middle, maybe this is year 3 through 5 in business. You're paying yourself a little bit more, so you've actually doubled it from here to there, paying yourself about 20%. Your rent and your staff are a little bit less of the pie here. We've got some marketing, but then we also kind of have some miscellaneous expenses. You've kind of gotten in the groove of buying things when you want them, and you don't really have a cool grasp on like where the money isn't going intentionally, but it's kind of status quo. You're paying yourself okay, business is good. You run into somebody out at the grocery store, hey man, how's your business doing? You're fine, okay? You're not visibly stressed anymore, but you're also maybe a little willy-nilly about the numbers and you're not completely clear on them, okay? And then we get over here, and then these percentages come from the Profit First cash flow accounting system. These are the allocations that are suggested there. And so here we are very, very intentional. Look at here. This is the first time we're seeing taxes and profit being allocated. We do have a breakdown of those operating expenses between rent, staff, and miscellaneous, and we will get more into other costs of doing business in chiropractic offices a little bit later. But what we want to look at here is that we've right-sized our owner's pay, okay? So we've right-sized our rent and our staff, at least as a ratio of the money that's coming in, but then we're actually paying ourselves, and this is a really great place to be. But I tell you what, unless you start to implement something like Profit First, this is not going to come naturally to you, okay? So Profit First, all about being very intentional with your money, with your cash flow, paying yourself well, taking a profit, and saving for taxes. So how do I get one of these fancy pie charts? Now, I've got a resource over here. I'll drop the link. And this is just from the Adobe website, nothing you need to log into, just something you find in a quick internet search. Label it chiropractic office or whatever your office name is here up at the top. But I want you to go grab some numbers for me. So I want you to pop over to your QuickBooks or whatever your accounting software is and pull some numbers out here. I want you to lump everything together that's in operating expenses. So paying your rent, paying your staff, paying your insurance, everything like that is going to go into the operating expenses. Any tax contributions that you've made for this year, now caveat, you can do this just for on a monthly basis, just pull all your September numbers if you want to. You can do this on a quarterly basis, pull everything from third quarter, or you can look at the whole year to date and just pull and see where you are, at this point in the year to make your pie chart from. Whatever your determination is where, however far back you're going to go back on these numbers. So for taxes, you want to look and see if you've made, quarterly distributions to the IRS for your estimated tax liability this year. You want to pop that number in there. and then whatever you've paid yourself, okay? And then the profit here, now if you've not been intentionally taking a profit, this is just going to be like the leftover money. Like maybe, there's just some extra money that, extra money is what you've been calling it, and it's just in the account. So what you want to do is this number here in the middle is going to add everything up together. This number should theoretically add up to the same amount of revenue generated during that time period, okay? So, but the reason we want to label it profit and the reason we want to stow it away and put it in a different bucket is because when you name things, you have to keep them, right? If you have everything just in one big account, one big slush, you are going to be very tempted to spend it and not be intentional with it. And remember, we overspend when we are avoiding saving for taxes, avoiding making a profit, or avoiding paying ourselves, okay, in our business. So that's a very quick rundown for 5 Minute Friday. I would love it if you share this with a friend. Now, all for this month of October, we're going to be going over that compensation ratio. How many times do you have to divide your dollar before it is actually yours, before you're paying yourself as being the owner of the business? And then this is our plan for the rest of the year. So compensation ratio is October. What is your cost of doing business is for November? And then what is your generation potential? We want to wrap up the year very strong, going into 2021, very intentional. And I would love to help you with that. Here's my contact info. Like I said, if you have a friend you want to forward this email to, if you're finding these videos helpful, number one, maybe just hit reply and let me know. That would be great. I love hearing back from you. But also, shoot an email over to me if you have another friend you want to get added to the 5 Minute Friday email list. So hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.